Hey folks, thanks for joining us here again today. Today we're going to talk about pressure, specifically as it relates to cutting outcomes. This is part of our series about the four major factors that can affect your cutting outcomes in abrasive water jet. So when it comes to pressure, one of the things we want to look at, and it doesn't matter whether you're cutting at 40,000 psi, 60,000 psi, direct drive, intense fire pump, 90K, does not matter. We need to make sure that the pressure that is set at the system is exactly what we are getting at the nozzle. So a couple of ways for us to verify that is, and quite frankly, when we do verify this, let me tell you that it might be one of the easiest things to check, but one of the more difficult things to troubleshoot. So one of the easy ways to look at it is if you got a high pressure gauge somewhere in your system, we want to look. And when the cutting head is closed, what is that pressure and what is it when it's open, especially when it comes to intense fires. And if it says, 58,000 when the cutting head is open, that's what the system, when you are inputting your factors, should read. But quite frankly, just because the gauge at the system, says 58,000 psi, do we really know that that's what's coming out of the nozzle? Okay. In most cases, I'm going to say yes, that is what's coming out of the nozzle in terms of pressure. But when all else things fail and we really can't figure out what's causing poor cutting outcomes, one of the things we're going to look for is blockage, especially in intense fire pumps. Quite frankly, a lot of us today, if we're running diamonds, we're running thimble filters. Well, if you're not cleaning that thimble filter on a regular basis, over a period of time, that thimble filter is going to get clogged. And when it gets clogged, one of the things it does is it blocks flow to the cutting head through the orifice. So quite frankly, the pressure gauge is still going to read 58,000 psi, but really what's coming out of the cutting head, out of the nozzle, is a question. We really don't know. So there's an example of a blockage. And quite frankly, when blockage happens with any system in water jet at any pressure, you're going to get extreme heat. So one of the ways that we tell our customers to find out where that blockage might be is starting at the cutting head, start touching the high pressure fittings, a swivel, wherever the thimble filter may be located, and start working your way backwards all the way to the gauge. And quite frankly, when you feel, what is going to be it will be extremely warm, hot, that's where you're going to want to start looking as a potential blockage point. So again, we got a 4-part series. We're talking about various factors that can affect the cutting outcomes. When it comes to pressure, again, one of the things we're really going to look for, again, as we said, it's kind of easy to look at the gauge, harder to actually figure out if there is blockage. If you do check the system and you can't find any heat, then we probably want to move on to some of the other factors. We more than likely do not have any blockage, or we do have, in other words, full flow and pressure going to the cutting head. In all cases, if you ever have any problems with your water jet, especially cutting outcomes, give one of our water jet experts a call at 1-833-4-Hennco.